Hey, what's up? This video is going to deal with a particular lie from a particular liar, a particular controversy at the moment, but in keeping with my general practice of trying to make videos that I would find interesting if I come back and watch them myself 5 years from now, when the controversy at the moment is forgotten, I'm also going to speak a little bit more broadly about the question of where these lies come from. How is it that the internet is so massively fertile, so productive in creating this form of slander, lies, and defamation, and talking about one pattern that I really see again and again within the vegan demimonde. Maybe it's a pattern found throughout political videos or just political discourse on the internet. I don't know. Maybe you guys can reflect on that. You guys can tell me if you've seen it elsewhere.
And last year, when all this thing happened, when Dr. Evil actually contacted this 16-year-old girl and was asking her if she's coming to Chiang Mai, I was talking about this whole thing straight, like, with her, and she actually showed me the emails he sent her, and he sent her like few emails, but from what I remember from the year ago when she actually showed me these emails, I saw them myself with my own eyes.
It would be easy to pass over this first portion of Vegan Ava's argument without making any comment on it, to take it for granted. But what she's doing here is really quite significant. First and foremost, she's creating a sense of mystery, a mystique, about a situation that is in no way mysterious. There's nothing mysterious about it whatsoever. And she's suggesting to the audience that she has inside knowledge, that because she saw these emails for herself, she knows something you don't know, something you can't know. She has access to information that isn't available to you right now by a click of the mouse. And that is profoundly false and misleading. Because the reality is those emails were posted on Julia Bohr's own blog. And thus, when private correspondence became public, they were posted also on my own YouTube channel in a video that's still quite enjoyable and amusing to watch, where I read out the emails and laugh about it and talk about some of the broader political implications for what's going on in veganism right now. It's still a good video. And all of that unfolded before Durian Ryder got involved, before anyone outside, in that sense, had taken any interest in this. But there were a lot of people who were interested at that time because Julia Bohr was a disaster. Julia Bohr was a train wreck and not happening in slow motion. And quite a lot of people, I'll put some of these emails on screen right now, quite a lot of people were looking at her with real concern and wondering what they could do to help, as this kid went deeper and deeper into a weight loss cult that for her was causing weight gain out of all control, and that was basically encouraging her to fantasize that she was going to have a career as an Instagram model, as a YouTube star, as a professional athlete, and even as an Olympic athlete.
Because you have Olympic level genetics.
At a time when she was throwing away all of her opportunities in terms of education, saying she was intending to drop out of school and just devote herself to bicycle training and basically trying to replicate Durian Ryder's form of internet fame or notoriety. It was a really strange situation that a lot of people took, I guess I could say, a compassionate interest in, and other people just sat back amazed looking at the trade wreck.
I don't do the split.
Don't interrupt, Daddy. Don't interrupt, Daddy. How old are you? 16?
16.
16! You don't listen to fucking anyone else but us, Julia. You listen to me, you listen to Freely, everyone else is white noise, is
but
sincere,
they are people from this community.
Doesn't matter, you listen to the directors. You listen to the king and queen. So I'm like 180 kilos, doesn't matter. You carry more weight than me. I'm like a 6-foot tapeworm. You know? you don't fuck around. You don't question.
So the refined sugar is not like, I don't need to cut out the refined sugar.
If your goal is to be lean as fuck and look like Freely by the time you're 20.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you want to be like 180 kilos, manic, fucking slitting your wrist, cutting yourself, then keep doing what you're doing.
But she is jealous of me because I can smash it as much rice and jam and sugar and whatever good stuff I can, vegan pizza, without having a drop of guilt and knowing that I will be lean anyways in like a couple of years, and then she will be staying there jealous, knocking on her raw tacos and be like, fuck this bitch. And she will still be sitting there under her blanket, in front of her laptop, writing rage comments. Excuse me, where's my cucumber? Stop being frustrated, little bitch, just because I tell the truth and you fucking know it.
But I don't understand why she's doing this.
She got an ebook advert at the end of her video. I'm a really victim, doing what did whatever. I'll buy my ebook. It's like, hang on, like, what? How does that work?
You've been talking to that Mazar guy.
Yeah. Sorry, if you've been assaulted or raped or whatever, you don't fucking sell an ebook.
According to her, you made her feel uncomfortable on the first night, and then why does she come back on the second night?
Why did she come back the second night?
So another question, I know I ask Harley about this in private, but I talk about this on camera because so many people maybe have issues with this, and I'm kind of the person who is really getting excited pretty easily. I overstress about things, and then I
because you have Olympic level genetics.
From what I remember from the year ago when she actually showed me these emails, I saw them myself with my own eyes, and he was asking her if she's coming to Chiang Mai, and she literally like told him to like fuck off, like I don't want to talk to you. And he said, okay, this is your decision, but by the way, you're gonna regret this.
So this is the core of the lie. Before, Durian Rider and his followers, like Vegan Ava, were claiming that the emails were flirtatious, and they're not. And everyone saw the emails. And now it's a year later, and we have a new lie claiming that the emails were threatening, and they're not. And we're talking about like 4 sentences worth of email here. But what's significant is that this lie was set up by suggesting to you she saw it directly with her own eyes, as if you haven't, as if you couldn't, as if she has inside information you don't have about a complex or mysterious situation, when there's nothing complex about it at all.
He said, okay, this is your decision, but by the way, you're gonna regret this. Like, this is not a proper behavior. First of all, you shouldn't talk like this to anyone, and second of all, you shouldn't talk and try to threaten anyone, like especially when they are like 16 years old.
So this is the email on screen right now. 1 sentence long, followed by a smiley face emoji. 1 sentence that is now being interpreted as a threat, and that formerly was interpreted, or so wildly misinterpreted, to justify threats of violence against me, criminal allegations against me, unbelievable defamation, doxing, bad behavior on the internet, that definitely has had a negative impact on my personal life, on my professional life, on my future career prospects, and yes, my status within the digital demimonde of aspiring vegan activists. This 1 sentence is the peg in the wall that all of these ridiculous lies are being hung upon.
Like, this is a little bit too much. When someone doesn't want to talk to you, you're gonna threaten them because they don't want to be friends.
This lie was incredibly easy to expose. If you're not already familiar with exactly what was said in the emails, you can pause and read what is on screen right now. That's all the context you really need, folks. This happens again and again. I see this pattern, and the first fatal footstep is from sense into nonsense, from reality into fantasy, drawing the audience in by creating a sense of mystique, that there's something concealed from you, that there's something intriguing, and then that the person making the video, the person appealing to your sense of curiosity, that they have the solution to that riddle, either through inside knowledge or just sheer speculation. And every time I see thousands of people taking the bait, no matter how implausible the story is, I mean, genuinely, nobody believes, not one person has ever talked to me who sincerely believed there was a romance or any kind of potential romantic tension between myself and Julia Bohr. Nobody, never once have I spoken to someone who had that apprehension on camera or off camera, face to face, on the internet or in real life, what have you. Never. Nobody found that believable. And yet, there's something about this format of setting up the lie as the solution to a mystery and exposing something concealed that is incredibly intoxicating to audiences on the internet.
Why did he donate to him? He was clean for money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of evidence to show that that was a
Right.
do you regret donating?
This is a pattern I see again and again. I'm not going to say too much about it. But instead of questioning what are the facts, instead of questioning how do we know the facts, I see again and again people asking, what was this person's motivation for doing what they did? They engage in speculation about what motivated me to do things without even asking themselves how they know what supposedly happened. And very often, their only source of information is Durian Rider, directly or indirectly. Durian Rider has a very clear motive to lie. He has a very clear track record of lying, of proven lies, demonstrable lies, falsified claims, and the reckless lack of interest in the truth, the lack of interest in even hearing one side of the story, is then made much more damaging by this habit of basically saying, well, why do you suppose this guy committed this crime? What do you think motivated this behavior? I see people indulging in that kind of speculation every day when they have not first asked what happened, how do we know what happened? And in so many cases, these things can be demystified with a pretty quick Google search by watching the videos on my own channel on the same topic, or just by straight up asking me. For the record, Klaus did not ask me. Klaus did not examine any facts. When he made the statement that there's evidence to show that it's a scam, that is a complete lie. And lie is the correct word, and I know that because I had a direct Skype conversation with Klaus after he had recorded this interview with Charles, Vegan Cheetah, but before he had uploaded it. And as a result of that conversation, Klaus just completely admitted that he had no idea what he was talking about when he made this statement. He bleeped out the word scam. Now, Klaus, that only establishes that you lied, that you were aware of the lie, that you failed to take responsibility for the lie. You never lifted a finger to set things right. Now, as a segue, some of you may ask, is it reasonable to suppose that somebody like Klaus or somebody in these other examples is really intentionally lying? Isn't it sometimes the case instead that they're just misled by misinformation on the internet, by lies that other people have told? Well, a large part of what I see going on, and this is, I think, crucial to why the internet is just such a fertile ground for these lies growing out of control, is that people will consciously or unconsciously solicit information to confirm their own bias and ignore evidence to the contrary.
What else has he done which is negative? Like, it's just... It's beyond words. I can't think of a single positive thing he's done. I can only think of negative things. Messed up. I've already listed it.
They feel that everybody knows something, and therefore it's an established fact. And what do they mean by everybody knows? They mean that they see a lot of anonymous comments on internet forums, on social media, whether that's Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, that confirm what they want to believe. And they are not even remembering the extent to which they're ignoring evidence to the contrary, and they're not even investigating into or thinking about what the real sources of that information might be, whether it's plausible or implausible, reliable or unreliable. Now, for someone like Klaus, who is allegedly running a news show, that's really pretty unforgivable. He's supposed to conform to a higher standard. But it's interesting, in comment sections, in internet discussion forums of various kinds, you can also see people who, whether they're conscious of their own bias or not, they see what they want to see. They hear what they want to hear, and then they write back saying, tell me more, soliciting more lies. And again, this is why it's so generative, it's so productive, because there's, if anything, an appetite to embellish the story, to expand on the lie once it has begun. The example I have up on screen right now combines several of these tendencies. It shows several tendencies in one short message and in Foot Soldier's response to it. In an earlier video, I demonstrated that when his viewers presented him with evidence that contradicted his whole line of reasoning, that showed that he was telling lies about me, that he was misrepresenting the situation very fundamentally, ethically, and otherwise, he simply dismisses that information. It's not what he wants to hear. But on the contrary, this anonymous commenter writes into him, and he wants to hear it, and he wants to hear more, and he wants to expand on it. He wants to elaborate on the lies he's already telling, whether or not he's conscious anymore that he is lying, whether or not he thinks of himself as soliciting more false and misleading information. The one sense in which I don't blame Foot Soldier for doing what he does here is that the nature of this lie is intriguing. It seems to create a mystery. Right off the bat, we have some sense that there's something mysterious and there's something concealed about my own past history of studying ancient languages. What is it that I said exactly about studying an ancient language? What is it about my own experience learning to speak Chinese? What is it that's being hinted at, either about me as concealing something or this person having discovered something, revealed something? It is intriguing, even though it is totally implausible, and you could, with one Google search, very rapidly find that, for example, the dead language he's talking about, I didn't study it for 18 months. I studied it for years and years. Look at all of the pages and hours of video I've filled up talking about my experience studying this language, including long discussions on YouTube. I may actually be the only person on the internet to discuss what it's like to study that language at such length and such depth, providing advice and providing resources for other people studying the language. So a very brief Google search can reveal how ridiculous this allegation is, but it's not even clear why the lie is being told, aside from trying to create this sense of mystique. That something is being concealed about my studying an ancient dead language, about my studying Chinese, and about my job, when in fact there is nothing mysterious about my job. There is nothing mysterious about my visa paperwork. Nothing. Anyone who felt they didn't know enough about my job history, it's just ridiculous. You could find out far more about me than you can about most elected officials in the United States. And I don't do that for the sake of transparency. Fundamentally, I do that because that is what my channel is about. Now, in this case, it may seem harmless. It may seem, frankly, pointless and childish that somebody would take the time to tell these lies and create a sense of mystique around my work history, my scholarly history, my language research history, my language learning history, so on and so forth. It becomes a lot more pernicious when you're looking at people telling lies about my divorce, my family life, my relationship with my own parents, my relationship with my own daughter. Why? Why are you telling these lies? And why has this become so normal within the vegan demimonde that it's ignored, that people treat it like nothing? I really confronted another YouTuber lately, Dumb Vegan, because he had a video in which he said in passing, without thinking twice about it, really just kind of an awful thing, suggesting that I was a terrible person today, that I had some terrible personality disorder because of a traumatic childhood. Now, that's not defamation. That's just a horrible thing to say about somebody on the internet. It's a horrible thing to say about somebody publicly, and frankly, even if you're gossiping in private, I think you should be ashamed to say that. And I wrote to him saying, look, man, in other categories on the internet, people say relatively minor things, like suggesting that somebody only did something because their parents don't really love them. This is a really psychologically ugly thing to say. How is it that in veganism we've sunk so low that you say this and think nothing of it? This just passes without a second thought. And he wrote back and he apologized to me, so kudos to him for that. But guys, we all really need to look in the mirror and check ourselves. We have to check this tendency because it's sad and it's sick and it's disgusting and it's wrong. Now, in fact, I'm sure none of you want to hear more about how I learned Chinese, over how many years and to what level, but I'm happy to talk about all that stuff. I have videos of myself speaking Chinese. I've never made any misleading or false claims with my experience with that language. I've never made misleading or false claims about my experience with Pali, which is an ancient language from India, similar to Sanskrit. You've probably heard of Sanskrit if you haven't heard of Pali, or any of the other languages or areas of research I've been involved in. There's no mystery for me about that. On the contrary, there's plenty of hard, honest information that you can verify with your own eyes. If you're making up lies about my divorce, why is it that the people making up those lies have never read the account publicly stated on my own blog about that? I mean, I'm someone with the extraordinary honesty to write about that, not in the interest of transparency, fundamentally because one day my own daughter is going to read that blog and is going to wonder how her parents got divorced, why her parents got divorced. And it is a flattering version of the events. Not flattering to me, but flattering towards my ex-wife. Because I know my daughter is going to read it one day, and I don't really want to say anything bad about her mom. So it frankly leaves out just about everything that was her fault and that she could be blamed for. So it's a flattering, polite account with a view to my own future. Fundamentally, guys, à-bas-le-ciel is not a channel about veganism. It's a channel about me and my life. The reason why I'm honest is neither for your entertainment nor to frustrate this remarkably large community of people who devote their time and energy to making up lies about me. I keep it real because that's why I came on YouTube in the first place, and that's still the reason why I come on YouTube day after day. I quit Buddhism as a religion because I did not want to be part of a religion that was built on lies. For me, the refusal to be part of a religion that's based on a lie, the refusal to be part of a political movement that's based on a lie. Guys, I'm the one person out here who is keeping it all the way real. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't have any reason to come on the internet at all.